Yeah, we do get stuff. I think we're just comfortable. I was listening to Lady, your video tonight, and that whole thing that we don't want to make changes because there's something in it that you said in relation to that. We even though there's vastness out there and so many things we could do, we just don't want to do something different, right? We're afraid of the unknown, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah, and then it's not like, for me, it's like, then I came to this, it's not about what I want, it's about what I need. So it's like being in a line with the universe. It's like just showing you what you need to do, and that's something's not what you want to do, but in the long run, it's something that it's better for you to do. So if you could see a bigger picture, which you can see when you are in that situation, but like maybe like a few years from now, then you're like, oh, like I did that, and this whole thing happens because of that. So when you have that bigger perspective, it all makes sense. But when you're in that situation, you're like, oh no, I want to do this. Like you're just so being stubborn, and then it's just like boom, like something happens.
I think you're also involved in the emotional choice. You're stuck in the emotion of it. Should I choose this? You have an emotional reason why you are where you are. Sometimes it's hard to get out of that and step forward, because forward to you at that time is like, yeah, I'm hearing it, but I'm good here. I'm comfy. I have all this going on. I just got over this. Oh, I fought so hard to get here. But it was only you needed to fight so hard to get over there. So this was the curve. So when you hear something that says, go over here, do this or that, you don't jump. We don't jump. It's unknown. So it's not as easy.
Well, it's because
stay where you are.
It's because, wait up a sec. Let me see if I can. It's because we're comfortable and we're afraid, like Diane said and Shima said. It's this thing about change. I'll give you guys a story that happened to me. This was in 1996. And I don't know about you, a bit about myself. I'm a therapist. I developed a technique called microstretching and developed it in 1995, or actually earlier in the 90s. And it's using stretching to help the body recover, regenerate, and deal with inflammation. So a lot of us know Dave, myself, and we've all been through this. In order to create a job, you still need to go from a job to a job. So I was, at the time, even though I was doing my therapy, I said to my then partner, Louise, I said, because I was involved with renovation as well, I said, you know what, I'm going to take Eddie up on his offer, and I don't think I'm going to continue this microstretching stretch therapy technique. And so this was March 6th, 1996. And I had this talk with Louise the night before. So I go to the job site, and this is where I'm saying the universe has got other plans for you, but sometimes it has to slap you in the face, or sometimes you have to get your purse ripped off your body in order for you to wake up, you know. So in my case, it wasn't a slap in the face. It was, if you guys can see that right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I almost lost my hand to a chop saw.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and it was one of the stupidest things that you can do on a job site. There's two types of injuries, the real accident and the stupid accident. 99.9% of most times it's the stupid accident. And this is what it was. So I cut myself on my hand. And that evening, well, first and foremost, it was like the universe saying, that's not your path, because after that day, I've never looked back. And I've worked in professional sports internationally. I've lectured internationally. And lady, someday I'm going to have to give you a talk, because there's a lot of other stuff that I'm working through. And I talked to Dan about it. So I'll give you a call sometime. Anyhow, so
Welcome.
Thank you. So that night, Louise comes to the hospital and I'm on Demerol. I'm as high as a kite. So the funny thing about it is that my company was called Serapis Stretch Therapy. And this is kind of interesting because Serapis was the Egyptian god of healing. He was the first monotheistic cult. He was the sacred bull. And it's kind of funny that you, Diane, and myself have some connection with Egypt. So the name of the company was called Serapis Stretch Therapy. So I am totally blitzed out. My wife at the time comes out and she starts, obviously a lot of it was emotional and stress and all this. And she's somewhat freaking out because of the ability where I couldn't work for a while doing my stretching stuff. So I turned around and I looked at her and I said, we could always call it Stumpy's Stretch Therapy.
Well, at least you use humor in it.
That's awesome.
Well, she didn't
That's
find the
awesome.
humor in it. Luckily that night I spent the night at the hospital. So, but anyways, again, it goes to what we've already talked about is sometimes we're very comfortable as to where we are right now. And even though there's a little voice in the back of our heads that is questioning where we are, we sometimes push it aside because of the fear of the unknown and the fear of, you know, falling into that abyss and seeing where it goes. And it comes back to trusting. We really don't trust. And we have a difficulty in trusting in the universe. And I often think of Carolyn Myss and the story of the wandering prophet, where there was this lady who just basically trusted in God so much that wherever she went, there were things waiting for her. And I think it's a sense that we need to basically feel that if we let go and really let go, we're afraid. We're afraid because it's just that it's the unknown of trusting the unknown. And I think that's what the universe is trying to say, or that's what God's trying to say, like, really have faith in me and trust me, and things will be fine. So I think that's one lesson that we really need to pay a lot more attention to, myself personally.
Do you feel that you trust yourself?
That's what we're going to have to talk about. Because, I mean, there's lots of things that I've gone through, and the trust of myself is something that Dave and Diane know me quite well. And we've had numerous talks about, even though I've done a lot of good things, even though I've traveled, the trust in myself is not there. Yeah. Yep. But anyways, I've wanted to share that story because I am going to.
Yeah.
So can I just say this, Nico? Is it
Sure.
Nico? Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah,
Yep.
I like that.
Thank you.
Because I don't know anyone named Nico, so now I'll never forget you.
There you go. Thank you.
I put out videos on YouTube about all of this, kind of just ways to think. And Diane's speaking one I just put up for the people that work with me on Insights. They have work to do and around it, but it's for anyone. And they're free. You just go on and listen to them. And I think if you listen to the one that just went up, you might find some interest, because we're all, Shema and all of us were talking about it. So it's timely, as it always is. It always is. You're going to hear it from all over and places you weren't expecting, and then it's in front of you. So this is just listen and hear, listen to hear.
Yeah.
We listen and hear, but we don't listen to hear.
Yeah.
So that was the start of the conversation of the video.
No, and I
it's
agree
a
with
big
you.
twirl. It's a big
and
twirl.
it's-
It's not me.
And it is, and it's true, because there's lots of things that I'd like to do. And I'm the person who puts the blocks in front of me because of that trusting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think a lot of us do that, right?
I think so. I think we have old behaviors that we fall back into. The
Correct.
subconscious is really clear about how it's supposed to go, because it tells you based on what it does know. So you always go back to what is safe. And remember, yourself, your divine light inside yourself is about, number one, survival. So if there's any fear, that survival is going to kick in and drag you back and hold you back and make you question and stop the trust. So sometimes it's that first step just out and you go, that wasn't so bad. And then it's easier to do more and more steps. That's how I got around the world. I had no rhyme nor reason for all the places I went. But I went because I was guided. It was clear. You're going here. You're going here. Like Diane said, I have a horrific story, which I'm not going to tell you tonight. Again, about choosing to be in a position where I was clear. Not for 1 second should you go there. Well, me, test the voice. test the voice. I don't do that anymore, but I did. Yeah, I think we all do. Like, Sherm, if you hear something, you might say, well, let me hear it again, or I'm not sure. And then you hear it again and it's harder. And then you hear it again and it's harsher. And then like Diane, you end up on your ass. So,
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Might help.
Yeah.
And any more comments or questions? I know Kelly wanted to share an experience where you
Yeah.
didn't follow the little voice
Yeah.
as well.
So in 2015, we had a bit of we had a few days of snow. It was like it was the end. It was February. Yeah, in February here we always get snow. We just always do. So excuse me. So what happened was I knew, I thought, oh, it's a decent day out today. So I called up a friend and I said, hey, do you want me to come over? So went over to see my friend, and then we're sitting and chatting, and he's like, so when do you want to leave tonight? I said, well, probably around 10:30 or so, around 10. So I thought to myself, I should take a taxi home. But I thought, oh, that's so dumb, because I always just take a bus home. Why would I take a taxi when it's not very far? And I just get off the bus and I just walk a few feet. That's just, So I thought, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's insane. So it's money and I don't wanna, so we're going, he's walking with me to the bus stop, and I had another guide dog at the time, and she didn't really like snow a lot, so she was walking at kind of a faster clip than she usually would, but it was okay because there really wasn't any snow on the sidewalk. So I was okay with it. I was like, yeah, this is cool, whatever. So we're walking and, I'm going, man, this is great, And then all of a sudden I slipped on ice, on a little patch of ice, and I fell, and I had a pizza in my right hand. I was taking home pizza. I remember that. And it was really good pizza too. I think that's why I remember. and I said, and my friend's like, he's a little ways back, and he said, well, what happened? And I said, I think I broke my wrist. And he said, are you sure? I said, yeah. I said, I'm sure. And he said, well, can you move it? I said, no, that's how I know. I can't move it at all. I said, I'm not even going to be able to pick up this pizza. I'm not going to be able to, And he's like, okay. But it wasn't a bone coming out kind of break. It was just just a clean fracture. So, so there was no blood, there was no,
Yeah.
And so I like, he said to me, it's like, well, what do you want me to do? And I said, well, I think the best bet is for me to get on the bus and tell the driver, and we'll take it from there. He'll probably call an ambulance and we'll go from there. So he said, okay. So the bus comes and I get on and, and the driver said, okay, so you broke your wrist. I said, yeah, I fell on ice and I broke it. And he said, okay. So, well, I'm going to call the ambulance. We're going to have to take you to the next stop. And then that way, I'll just call the ambulance and they can pick you up there. So that's what happened.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Kelly, let's go back then. You
Yeah.
you knew you should have taken a taxi, but something you just said, well, due to money, I'm not going to, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And
and you
Yeah.
think
I just,
Was
it was
money
like a
really an
bit of a
issue?
warning.
it really was. It really was. I think, yeah. And I I think it's very important to listen to that inner voice, definitely.
Yeah.
I really think that that's a very, very, very important thing to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's just hard to tell sometimes, right? Because we have these different voices that talk.
well, no, it really is. I mean, I've had some experiences just recently with that, right?
Yeah, I think
Because
we all do. Yeah. Does
yeah,
anyone
well,
want to, Kelly, I'm just trying to move along simply because I
Yep.
think a lot of people are tired. Does anyone want to comment on, what Kelly was saying there?
I was thinking, was money really an issue? That was
that
your issue?
time, at that time it was, yeah. Yeah, I
It
wasn't,
was.
yeah, I wasn't working.
I wish I could hear that, but I'm not even hearing it in your voice.
Oh,
No,
So you
at
didn't
that
have
time,
enough money for a taxi. You couldn't charge it or nothing. You were out.
no, I guess, I don't know. Like, I was paying for vet bills. My other guide dog had a lot of health issues.
Your
So
dog.
what's that?
Your guide dog?
My other one, yes, my first one. Yeah, she had a lot of health issues.
yeah,
So
so you're trying to save money for that.
I was paying for those and
Yeah.
paying expensive rent, and
Yeah.
it was, yeah, so actually, no, it really was straight up an issue, yes.
Yeah.
I think what I'm getting at is we, people, humans, us, all of us, we don't put up the value of ourselves. I mean, if something happened to you, like seriously, who's going to take care of the dog then?
Well, no, I
You-
get it.
Somehow
I
you
mean,
have to come first in the life. And this is one of the problems with the trust that was Nikos was just talking about,
Yeah.
is your level of being first in your own life. And no, I don't think your
Mhm.
dog should suffer. That's not the point. The point is that when you get some hit like that and you're blind basically, and you're getting notification that you should get a taxi, yeah, you're worse than me. I'm horrible at taking advice from everywhere, but you have to.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
must.
no, I do know that. And
Yeah,
now,
and you're available as well. But you have more ability than other people because of this.
well, I mean, now I know to listen to it, so I do.
But to be fair, that happened to me like several times too. It was like it's not like you don't have the money, but like sometimes they're like, just like you said, right? Like, I always do this. Like I always bus to my place. Like why do I need to taxi, right? So it's like just like Diane said, like how do you know, right? It's like, well, like I always do that, right? Yeah, I have this little voice, but well, it might be nothing. But what I want to say is sometimes it also depends on your mood too. Like there is like you or have a positive or mood, or like you either can be have a positive at any moment. You can have a positive mood or be in a negative mood. And I think
Mhm.
that really affects what's gonna happen to you. It's like, are we gonna attract those positiveness around us? Are we gonna attract those negativity around us? And sometimes we are in just a negative mood. And I remember one time I went to I had long hair and was for the first time I wanted to cut it short. and like a pixie, but then it was the new stylist that I was going to, and she was like, well, let's not cut it really short, like let's just go like step by step. And then she cut it, and then I came out of the salon, and I just hated it. I hated it, and I just like,
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I had like this negative feeling. I was like really negative. I was biking home, and I was on the Lionsgate Bridge, and it was just like going downhill, and it's like it's really steep. And I was just thinking, I was just reading in my head, I hate this haircut so, and I was just really, really negative. And it was like really crowded with other people who were like also biking or just walking. And I just like, for 1 second, I don't know what happened. I lost the balance and it just went right into the railing. Like the handle went right into my stomach. I was bruised from my knee up to like where my belly button is. I was bruised. I was just like, I was crunched down. I couldn't even stand up. And then other people were like by, and they were like, are you okay? Are you going to be okay? And I was just like, yeah, I just need a minute to just, I couldn't even breathe. And like after like 5 minutes or so, I was like, okay, I'm better. I just can, because I had my car parked in Park Royal. So I just like went there, and I was bruised for like a month, like bad bruise. I'm like all over. So I had that because I was just like in a very negative mood. And it's just like at that moment, I only can attract negativity. And I also painted, like I did a painting of me biking and like all blue and red. It's just a reminder for me. It was like, hey, make sure, like it was such a small matter. Like if I didn't like my haircut, I could have gone like, I don't know, like that's what I did actually. I went like another like the next week and I cut it really short. I was like, it's just such a small matter that really bothers us to the point that we just like, it for me it was like that the consequence was really bad. So I totally get it. Like it happened to me. Sometimes it just and I knew that I'm such a negative place and I shouldn't be. And I still like was negative. I wasn't like taking a moment maybe just to breathe, just like, just take it in. I was just like going, I was like, okay, it's all right. But I was like really upset. And then this happened to me.
Yeah, we get stuck, yes, right?
Yeah.
Get stuck into a way of thinking.
Yeah. But eventually hopefully we start to trust, like you say, lady, and the more you do it, the more you get used to it, and there's a big difference in of hearing that voice and hearing your own voice. And sometimes you're in a negative state of mind and you're saying, I don't want to do this, but it's not the voice that's trying to guide you. Yeah. So I relate tonight's topic to kind of an overarching, well, it was the first part of my life. When I was 14 years old, I knew I wanted to move out west. I knew I wanted to get to the West Coast. And at 14, that's pretty young to go from, Ontario to the West Coast of Canada. But I knew I did. I knew I wanted to go. I knew I had to go.
Wow.
And I was telling everybody, yeah, I'm going. I'm just going to leave and I'm going to go. And never thinking of the consequences. But I was, I knew in my mind I was going to go. But then, circumstances, things kind of keep you, like would, kind of snag you from moving, from taking that action. In my case, it was, sort of at 14, falling in love and then going, well, I can't go out west, I'm in love, but that never panned out. But then it was just a series of other things from then until I finally left, and nothing in my life ever worked out. And I did all the right things. I went to school, had, a career, had, relationships, but everything would fall apart. And like I was, you know, less than a week away from having a full-time position with the government, working for the Department of the Environment. And they loved me. They just said, you're like, you know, one of the best techs. We can't wait. You know, like you're a made man. This is a done deal. And I came into work and they said, well, our prime minister put a hiring freeze on all the federal departments. We can't hire you full time. So like the bottom just fell out. But it was a series of things like that, you know, and until I finally, you know, again, I was, you know, I had my own business, things were going well. A relationship all of a sudden just went up in smoke. And the business was doing really well. But then I just said to myself, and I was 30 years old now at the time, if I don't go now, I'm never going to go. And I did. I packed up and I left, and I, you know, packed up my pickup truck and moved out west. And I mean, the road certainly wasn't easy after that, but I certainly had to pay some dues, but I was never happier. And for my mind, things went very well. I've had a great life and continue to. And it was, you know, it was just finally being brave enough and getting back on the path that, you know, I knew that I really wanted to be on. And I mean, it's been just like a great adventure since then. I, you know, couldn't describe it any better or any differently. It's been, yeah, it's been, and that, and being, and knowing you follow that voice can, you know, it keeps you going where
I agree.
you're gonna go, where you should go, where you want to go.
I know. You're out in New
I
York.
met Dave in Egypt. I heard about Dave from Diane for years before.
Yeah.
Because I've known Diane a really long time while we were there. And then she moved to Canada, I didn't really have much conversation with her for years, or Dave. But I had the pleasure of standing across him while I was working on, I worked on horses to rid them of all kinds of issues that they had that other therapy wouldn't work on. So they would call me in. Anyway, so Dave was there and he was with me and I was going to check this horse out. And Dave's just got this, it comes right through the whole area. I don't even know if he understood how much that he had going on. I was like, what is he really doing with his life? Why isn't he doing this? Because the working with him and him being on, not necessarily knowing exactly what I was doing, but still being part of it and going, what do you want to do? Just going with it. And then the mesh was just incredible. So it was almost like, look at what you can do. This was like a thread opening. It's like, for me, I call these threads when something is so obvious and you're doing it so easily, there shouldn't be any fight in you for your life. You should be in joy. You're here to be in joy. You're not here to be fighting for your life. You should be full of joy as much as you can. And when you're not, you have to ask yourself, why isn't this making me happy? And if you got even one real reason, then you have to change. And or you're going to be forced to on some level or another. So sooner or later, you're going to end up where you're supposed to be. It's true. But why waste that time? If it's not making you happy, got to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's not keeping you happy and safe, you have to reconsider how important you are in your life. You have to be number one.
Yeah.
Even your partner can't be one over you. It has to be you in the joy of it, and your partner, whoever, even your animals, they will have a life that's so much better because you're good.
Yeah, that's good. And thank you to everyone for joining. If there's any other final comments.
Put up the link for, well, you can send out to the people, the link for that last video, because I think it's really valuable based on what we're saying.
Yeah.
Really it is. I don't know if Dave heard it. I know you heard it, Diane. And most all the people that were supposed to listen to have made comment. It just seems like there's a timely issue going across, and it's interesting because you're there and you're bringing this up, and he brought it up to the Nico, and that's what we've been talking about. And you're in class, so there's all this connection going across countries. These people are in Israel, they're in Japan, my obviously people I know in Egypt, France, and England, of course, Wales, Scotland, then all through the Americas and North America now. So it's there. It's just there. So it's helpful to get as much lift as we can. So sometimes these quick little 5-minute videos, because that's all I like to do, short, get in, get out. They give you a chance to just, okay, I'm going to listen to it, and then I'm going to get on with my day. It's not like I have to sit and be there for time. No, I don't like to do it either. So that's why I don't like to offer it.
So you want the short clip of the video, or you want the whole thing? Is that what you want for?
No, what I'm saying is the video from Listen to Hear, which is on my YouTube
Oh, yes,
channel.
that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be just so that people that they can get to it. That's all, that they can
Exactly,
listen,
yeah.
especially this one,
So
because
put
it's,
the link in the description for that because you mentioned it in this one. Is what you're saying.
yeah, put it in so people, they're free. Please feel free to go do it.
Definitely.
And it's
Yeah.
a
And
great conversation as well.
yeah, and I do want to add
Agreed.
more of your links to the descriptions because you're in these videos, right? So I want more. I did it with the first few, but I want to do it with the rest. So I'll do that. Yes,
That's fine. I just when it meshes, we
Yeah.
should just keep the links going.
exactly.
Everyone can get, the more they can get out of it, the better, I think.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's
Thank-
tired of me. Well,
Thanks,
what time?
lady.
It's
Thanks for
11
hanging.
there, right? And
It's
Sheila,
11 and I
thank
have-
you,
I
Sheila,
start
for
working at-
joining and sharing. Yeah,
I
that's.
start working
Yeah.
at 6, so I only have
Oh,
so
boy.
many hours to sleep now, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna go.
All
Thanks,
right.
Dave.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
hanging in there. Thanks
Yeah.
for hanging in.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Randy.
Sheila.
Good
I'm
night.
sorry,
Good
it was a
night.
couple
Good night.
minutes. Good
Night.
night.
Oh,
Good
good
night.
night. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Nice to meet you, Shima.
Yeah,
Nice to
same
meet
here.
you. See you next week, Shima.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay.